Hey guys, welcome to JReviews. I am Iceman and the game covered today is Doom 3. The Doom series as a whole needs no introduction. Whilst it technically was not the first of the first-person shooter genre, it sure kickstarted it into gear with classics like Doom and Doom 2 back in the early 90s. But this review isn't about those two absolute classics. This review is centered on Doom 3, which was developed by ID Software and released in 2004. If you've played any of the games in the series, then you already know exactly what it is about, but if you're one of the rare few who hasn't played any of them, the basics is that you are a Marine on Mars, where all hell breaks loose and it's your job to kick some demon butt. That's what it boils down to essentially. On story and narrative, my brief description pretty much sums up the starting part of the game, but in the case of Doom 3, what you need to know is that the United Aerospace Corporation, or UAC, has developed teleportation technology, and it is through that the forces of hell have broken free into the human realm to cause complete chaos. And it is when this chaos erupts that this game really shines bright. The moment when all hell breaks loose is absolutely awesome, as you see play out in the game at that moment.
I say again, fall back to Marine HQ and await.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Narrative-wise, story is conveyed to you via several methods, and this is one of the key differences between Doom 3 and the prior games. It is told firstly by talking to people directly, which this being a Doom game you don't do very much of. Second is via cutscenes, which you're going to see a lot of as you progress through the game. The third way is via audio logs, emails, and videos, which draws major parallels to the System Shock games, especially due to the style of interface that you use throughout the game, which is super similar to that of System Shock 2. This was one of the key reasons that many people disliked the game on release. I personally didn't mind it, but I can see why it would have pissed off some people. Just like System Shock, expect to be spending a lot of time listening to audio logs and reading emails, as it is required to progress at points in the game, generally via the code to a door being present in them. So the feel of the game is very different to the games before it, which had been fast-paced. Doom 3, on the other hand, is far slower in nature, with the parallels to System Shock as I mentioned, as well as more of a survival horror type feel than just a standard first-person shooter. So be of note of that going in, as it is the primary key difference to the other games. Graphics to the game are excellent, even viewed today. It still looks quite nice to me. Some very nice visuals of the Mars surface, which reminded me quite a bit of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Total Recall quite a bit, which went for a similar Mars-style setting and just the visuals being very similar in look. So all in all, I would say that the graphics to the game are quite good, even for now. Music is another key difference over the games before, where before there was a strong heavy metal rock influence. Doom 3, on the other hand, goes for something completely different. What it goes for is ambient style stuff. Rarely is there noticeable music at play other than at the game's main menu screen, which does go for a heavy metal kind of sound. Everything else though is totally ambient, that you won't notice. Definitely not anything you'd have in a video game playlist. I totally get it based on the style of game that I'm going for, but it is just something going in that there is that major difference in music style. So gameplay of Doom 3 is both similar to the early games in some ways, but then completely different in others. For what is similar, you point and shoot at stuff until it's dead or you are, like most first-person shooters. And you have access to, for the most part, the same weapons you had access to in the earlier games. Many of them behave differently, however. The shotgun, for example, is not powerful at long range, but deadly when up close like an actual shotgun. The pistol is significantly better this time around, and is the preferred weapon type to use against some of the smaller enemies that you're going to take on. One new weapon in this game is the machine gun. It acts essentially the same as any machine gun you've used in any first-person shooter style game. One benefit is that you get to look down sights with it, which increases its effectiveness. The other weapons are very close to how they were in the previous games, like the rocket launcher, which is as deadly as ever, the chainsaw, which is as brutal and awesome as it always was, and makes a very satisfying sound effect as you hack through enemies. Nice. Nice. You also have the chain gun, which is super similar to how it was in the earlier games, but packs a much more powerful attack and is very useful against nearly every enemy in the game. Next up, the plasma gun, which is deadly against most enemies, and the BFG 9000, which you don't get until later on in the game, and only if you've been paying attention to those emails you've been coming across. Beyond weapons, the other major difference this time around is in jump scares, and how often it's used on you. The devs of Doom 3 clearly love teleporting enemies behind you, as you're going to see that happen a lot in this game, and I mean a lot. So much so that you'll learn to expect it and be able to easily handle those attacks after some time. One trick I learned for those is to keep your ears open for the sounds of enemies behind you, stay alert and you'll be fine. That said though, even with that knowledge, a few of them still made me jump, which is very rare for me playing games nowadays.
Broadcasting on a very low frequency. If you can hear me, I'm not far. Please help me. I've locked myself in storage room C4. Please, if
C4.
anyone can hear me, please help me.
Storage room C4. Ooh, fuck. Fuck. That actually made me jump, and games don't make me jump very much. Another key gameplay mechanic in Doom 3 is optional side areas, alternate paths, and secrets. There is some really intelligent level design that goes on in this game. Not all of it is obvious, and most of it requires some thinking to work out precisely how to get to some places, or even just of what areas could potentially be secrets. Some even require use of door passcodes given to you in earlier levels to get into some areas. Other secrets were just creepy as hell.
Over here.
But
Over here.
the negative is that you often pay for it, as enemies will most oftentimes spawn in when you gain access to a secret area, but it's still worth it for those net positives that you get. Often things like healing items, ammo, gaining access to certain weapons much earlier on, etc. On the subject of level design, just as with the earlier games, levels are totally linear, with very little in the way of returning back to levels that you've already been to. I found the levels themselves to be designed quite well, far better than what you would have seen in the earlier games. Enemies-wise, there is a good range of enemies you will face in the game, some from past games and some completely new. Zombies you will see a lot of. These come in two variants. The first are slow-moving, weaponless, traditional style movies like you've seen in like zombie horror movies. The second are more difficult zombie soldiers who are equipped with various weapons, usually pistols. Imps are next up, which is just as their earlier incarnations. They love to throw fireballs, but in this game they also love to leap at you, which is very difficult to avoid. Head spiders are next up, which is a new enemy type. Best taken out with the pistol, as it doesn't take much to take them out. They do like to attack in swarms, however. Wraiths is another new enemy in this game. They love to teleport around as they run towards you. Not hard to take out if you take your time and just wait for them to get close to you. Lost Souls make another appearance in this game. They have exactly the same type of behavior as in the earlier games. Shoot them before they get close. Shrubs are next up. These are flying baby things and sound like babies as they move about, which makes them very disturbing to fight. Oh man, that's fucked up. Cocodemons are back in Doom 3. They look completely different to how they were in the past games, but behave pretty much the same as they did before, and are weak to rifles in particular. Demons are another new enemy type. This one is a mixture of demon and mechanical parts. They charge at you as soon as they spot you. Keep your distance as they deal a lot of damage. Hell Knights are another returning enemy, but look way scarier this time around. Avoid their ranged attacks and you should be fine. Mancubuses are back in Doom 3 and are the same as in the past games, except that they only shoot with one of their cannons at a time, making them easier to take on in Doom 3. Revenants you'll be seeing from about midway in the game onward. Just as in Doom 2, they love to shoot heat-seeking rockets at you, but aren't majorly difficult to defeat. The Archvile is the last major enemy to mention, as just like in Doom 2, it is a truly difficult enemy to defeat. It has the power to release a stream of fire at you, but what makes it most deadly, however, is that it has the power to resurrect dead enemies, which can mean certain defeat for you unless you take them out quickly. Easily the most deadly of enemies in the game, taking them out ASAP when they appear is your best bet. And there is plenty of other enemies in the game, but those are the primary ones you'll be encountering in Doom 3. One other big gameplay change in Doom 3 comes with the Soul Cube. This item is powered by the souls of enemies you defeat, then allows you to do one big super attack with it, which is both good for taking out difficult opponents, and it restores a decent amount of health, making it a major game changer once you gain access to it. Difficulty level wise for the vast majority of the game, I would say that this game is moderately challenging, but nothing too crazy. Even the final boss battle isn't that hard once you figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing. It took me around 6 to 8 hours to get through the main game, so not a long game at all to get through. And that's about it on gameplay. There is heaps of other little aspects I could cover, but those are the main aspects of the game. On the subject of multiplayer, that most definitely featured in this game. I personally never tried it myself, but it is there, but only in the PC release of the game, oddly. All console releases of Doom 3 were single player only. Why that is the case, I have no idea. That is very strange to me. Bugs and technical issues wise, I can't recall any that were due to the game itself. On my last playthrough, the only issues that I encountered were due to the source port that I used to play the game, called DHEWM3, or reads kind of Doom 3. And in that, there was one level in particular that had major audio and visual lag issues, but only in that one level, and that was only because of the source port. I did not encounter any other bugs that I can think of that were to do with the game itself. Sequels and expansion wise, technically there was no sequel to this game, as there has yet to be a Doom 4, though we did get Doom Eternal in 2020, which was a return to the far more fast-paced style of the earlier games, and was far better received than Doom 3 was. For Doom 3 specifically, we got one expansion in the form of Resurrection of Evil. This one did away with the optional paths and secret areas for the most part, and just went 100% linear, with some unique abilities that you gain access to, like being able to slow down time, being able to be invulnerable to damage for a short while, and stuff like that. Plus you finally get access to the double barrel shotgun, which was definitely a welcome addition. And you also gain access to Doom 3's version of Half-Life's gravity gun, except that this one can only grab enemy projectiles and small objects. Compared to the main game, I didn't really enjoy this as much, plus it majorly ramps up in difficulty in the last 2 levels of it, and ends with a really damn difficult boss battle. So all in all, Doom 3 I look very differently on now compared to when I first played it. When I first played the game in the early 2000s, I thought it was just a System Shock 2 clone, and was half-half on it, but did enjoy some parts of it. Nowadays though, I think it's fantastic, though only in the main campaign, not the expansion. I had a real blast playing through that, and really enjoyed its level design. I definitely recommend giving this game a go, if you haven't before. Just go in knowing that it's nothing at all like the other games in the series. Far slower, but it still has some fun battles, and it's pretty damn good overall. So all in all, Doom 3 is an excellent game, with, that is just a much slower game compared to the earlier games in the series, but definitely worth your time as there's some definite fun to be found in there. And that's about all I have to say on Doom 3. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos in the series, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and also just check out my channel for further videos and you will find out what else is available. And with that, this is Iceman of JReviews signing out. Guys, Have a good one.